Good evening, welcome to the latest live edition of Last Bowl Boxing. As promised on Saturday night, tonight we're going to cover some of the main fights in the BT card and also Sky card. So, joined by regular Ander. Good evening, Ander.
Good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I can see you in the hotel room. Won't ask no more questions, but let's hope the Wi-Fi stands up.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith for Andy tonight, but we won't go no further into that one. So let's kick off the Andes. Let's go straight into. Let's start with the Conlan fight of the weekend. Obviously, a lot of people adding 2 and 2 together and coming up with 10 regarding the rematch of Conlan versus Wood after this fight. But obviously, it didn't quite pan out that way, did it?
No. I was actually really, really disappointed with the way that the Conlan camp approached the fight. I think, I'll be honest with you, I might be wrong here, but this is just my opinion from looking from the outside. I think they allowed Michael Conlan to get too involved with the emotion of the build-up. And we've seen the last 2 Lee Wood fights against Lara. Lee Wood's tunnel vision into.
Yep.
You know, he does what he needs to do on the public workout, straight back into the changing room. Let's Ben Davison deal with everything else. Same with the press conference, straight back in. You know, he's zoned. And I'm not sure that Michael Conlan's team did that for him. And it just looked... He looked like he was fighting on emotion. He looked like he was getting dragged. We've talked about this before, about how difficult it is for a home fighter on a massive event like that not to get dragged into a fight because of the crowd. And that's exactly what he did. He fought the wrong fight, mate.
Yeah.
For the first 2 rounds, he looked brilliant. You know, fighting off the back foot, slipping, moving, making life difficult. He was getting caught a little bit, but not massively. And then all of a sudden, he planted his feet and they just went toe to toe.
I mean, let's be honest. We thought Lopez was tailor-made for Conlan, didn't we? We thought he's absolutely tailor-made. The thing about Conlan, we've mentioned it before regarding, is he big enough? Has he got the power to keep people off? Because eventually Lopez was just walking him down, wasn't he?
Yeah. I still think Michael Conlan is a world-class fighter. He just fought the wrong fight. That's my opinion. I still think he becomes a world champion at this weight division. I don't think he's too small, mate. He's going to grow into it. He's still a young lad, remember, don't forget. He'll grow into the weight a bit. I just think he fought the wrong fight. It was interesting that, and I didn't realise this. I've watched it back a couple of times now. I didn't realise this, and I heard it. Adam Booth said in the corner at one point, "I'm not going to allow you to take these shots."
I mean,
so that was his warning to Conlan that if you carry on taking these shots, I'm stopping the fight.
He's 31 though, Andy, so I can't see him growing any more into the weight.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was younger than that.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, I don't know, mate. I'm very disappointed. I've got to be honest. I'm very disappointed. That I was really wanting Michael Conlan to win, mate, because I do think he's a quality fighter. You know, put the Lee Wood stuff to one side. Obviously, we had some banter with the Irish fans that night, that build up to that fight. But when it comes down to it, Conlan's a quality. I'm shaking my head as to how it's happened, how he's allowed to get himself into that sort of fight, because Lopez on that performance looks like a monster puncher. He looked like he was hurting Conlan every time he landed. But I didn't see that monster puncher against Warrington.
No.
I don't know, mate. Just bizarre. Just really, really, really bizarre. I just think the occasion may have got to him a little bit. A lot of pressure was on his shoulders, mate. You know, his brother's talking about do or die, must win fight. Are they the right noises to be saying? Are they the right things to be saying? I mean, that's putting his brother under even more pressure.
The thing I did like about Lopez was the way he just waltzed around Belfast with all the confidence, very little entourage, no security.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a mind game where he was saying, I'm comfortable over here, I'm not intimidated. And to be fair, he was very calm going into the ring, wasn't it? And you got to give him props now. He's gone into the Lions Den in Leeds, and he's gone into the Lions Den in Belfast and done the job.
Wow. Just put his comment up in the sideboard. I think Joe, good evening, Joe. I think Joe's been really, really harsh. He's put, hate to say it, but Conlan's done at top level. He's at that gatekeeper level, unfortunately. Wow. I don't quite agree with that. I think he can easily come back. He has had two really heavy knockouts, which is concerning.
You can't keep taking them sort of knockouts.
No. I'm not sure whether the towel came in a little bit early. Understand his coach is trying to save him, mate. But he did get up. And I don't know how he looked hurt. He looked really hurt, don't get me wrong. But I don't know how hurt he was, because he did get up and he didn't seem too bad when he got up. So I don't know whether it was a little bit early with the towel, but I understand why Adam Booth did that. He's protecting his fighter. He could see that it wasn't just that one shot, was it? He could see, I've just said it, that Conlan was taking a lot of punishment, and every time Lopez landed, it seemed like it was.
I will come back to my original point, though, Andy, where Lopez had no concern for Conlan's power whatsoever. He was just literally walking through his shots, wasn't he? And that's a concern. That's a big concern.
It's a concern when you're going to plant your feet and try and trade with a guy.
And he still couldn't make a dent in him, could he?
No, but why fight like that, Cole? Why fight that way?
Like I say, was it the occasion getting to him? So Lee says Conlan should be done, but don't forget it was third time looking for George Groves.
Yeah, I agree, Lee. I think Conlan's still got an opportunity.
Groves won a world title. Let's have it right though. Groves won his world title against a bang average of champion, didn't he?
He did, Cole, but he deserved to be world champion, Groves.
Yeah, I'm just saying, will the stars align for Conlan? Will he get a chance against, let's say, maybe a substandard world champion in that division?
Well, I mean, it depends. It all depends on what happens. I didn't really want to talk about Lee Wood tonight because we did it the other night, but his manager has been called. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. I don't know if you saw it on the post. I don't know if you saw it on the post-fight presser, but somebody asked him if the Warrington fight was made at the City Ground, but you had to vacate the belt to take that fight, would you? And he didn't completely dismiss it. I tell you, the thing is, right, it's took a lot for him to win that world title, and he won't want to give it up. But having said that, he keeps on saying, I'm only doing this because I want to fight at the City Ground. I'm only still fighting because I want to fight at the City Ground. That's his legacy fight. Being two-time world champion's amazing, but his legacy is he wants to be the first boxer to fight at the City Ground. So if Eddie Hearn comes to him and says, I've tried my hardest to pay step aside money for the mandatory so we can have this Warrington fight at the City Ground first, but they won't have it, Lee. They won't have it. So you've got a choice here. You either take your mandatory and then we try and make the Warrington fight later down the line, which won't happen in the winter at the City Ground, or you're going to have to vacate. And I promise you the City Ground fight will happen.
He'll take the City Ground fight all day long.
I think maybe he would. I think maybe he
I
would, but
know
I'm
he
not going
would.
to say for certain he's going to do that because Lee Wood's a warrior and he won't want to give that belt up.
No, but like you said, he feels it's his destiny stroke happy ending as he describes it. So for me, if that was a choice he was given, hopefully it's not the choice, but
No.
if it is, he would give the belt up, I think.
We might have to ask him that next time we interview him, mate.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very, very good question.
Yeah. So where do you go on then? So where do you see? And this is the same question to everyone in the sidebar. Where do you see Michael Conlan going next? He's obviously signed to Top Rank. He's got a deal with Top Rank. Do they go back to the drawing board and give him a couple of tune-ups, or do they bang him straight back in a top 5 fight?
I think he's going to want a couple of tune-ups. I know he's 31, but he came to the pro game quite late, didn't he? So he's fresh. So I think a couple of tune-ups. But I feel there's a blueprint there now to beat him. I really think there's a blueprint. Yeah.
No, I'm not convinced of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the way he normally fights. Back foot, very slick, difficult to hit, difficult to.
I'm not sure he's got the power to keep. I'm just not sure he's got the power to keep people off.
But his skill. His skill and speed and ring awareness.
Not enough against the elite.
No, it has been enough though, hasn't it?
Not against the elite, has it?
Well, definitely not against Lopez because he didn't fight that way. That's my point. He fought a completely different fight, the wrong fight.
He's had a couple of world title fights and been found wanting, though. That's the truth of it. Even when he put Wood down early on in Nottingham, he couldn't see the show out, could he? So that's what I mean about keeping people off. That would be my concern.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, I get your point.
So Joe in sidebar says, world titles don't pay the bills. You've got to take the money, fight at Forest. And Lee Brown says, Warrington doesn't deserve the shot, but he will get it. He's probably got a point about Warrington, to be honest.
Warrington's the biggest fight out there for Lee Wood money-wise by a country mile. It's the most entertaining fight as well. Can you think of anybody else you'd rather see Lee Wood fight?
No.
Other than unification. Other than unification. But unifications don't necessarily mean more money.
And I'll go early on this one. I don't think Warrington sees round 6.
No, I think he's a bit more durable than we probably gave him credit for after the Lara loss.
So
I think he's if you look at now what Lopez has done to Conlan, that probably tells you that Warrington. I mean, Warrington didn't even look hurt against Lopez, so Lopez must have been landing.
Warrington's bigger than Conlan, though, isn't it? Probably punches harder.
But that's what I'm saying. So he's still very durable. Maybe not as far down the line as we possibly first thought.
So Joe in sidebar says, Andy, you're flogging a dead horse here with Conlan.
Maybe, Joe. We'll see. We'll see, mate. Be interesting to see what they decide to do with him next, to be honest.
It's a rebuilding job for me. Okay. So moving on, Andy. So we touched on Eggington next because that was quite an intriguing one. Not many fancied him to beat Pickford. So over on the Sky card, you had Sam Eggington. Sam Eggington's an interesting one because he kind of gets to a certain level. He's got levels, hasn't he? He always gets found wanting when he's against the Liam Smiths of this world and people like that. So I mean, I'd be intrigued to see what they do with Eggington next because he's game and he's obviously got a certain amount of talent, but probably not enough. Well, definitely not enough for world honours. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with him.
I was I was expecting this to be a real, absolute barnstormer of a fight. I was very, very disappointed with Pickford. Very disappointed. The fight didn't even catch fire till about the third or fourth round. They did nothing for the first couple of rounds. And then when they did start to stand and trade, Pickford's got this reputation of being a big puncher. He didn't dent Eggington one little bit. And I think he kind of thought to himself, oh, shit, what do I do now then? And Eggington just picked him off and broke him down, to be honest.
It's a very good domestic fight, Eggington, but that's where it stops. So I don't know where it leaves Pickford, to be honest. Evening, Lee.
Not in the best of places.
What were your thoughts on the Eggington fight, Lee?
Yeah, I think I said last week, I think Pickford should have been further along in his career than he was. And it was hard to put it was hard to actually give a prediction with Pickford because he's never been in that type of fight. And by his age and by his standards, he really should have been. But inactivity's played a huge part in his career. I was quite shocked that it was the stoppage that it was. I actually quite fancied Pickford to get the job done. But yeah, I think that showed in there about levels, didn't it? And Eggington is domestic level, no doubt about it. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and Pickford obviously isn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. It is a very bad, damaging blow for boxer, wasn't it? Because they're starting to get behind Pickford a little bit, weren't they? And they're hoping he's going to be next.
Yeah. I don't know if he was a little bit distracted by what was. I'm not trying to make excuses for him because the better man won, but there was a lot going on as their fight was going on. Certainly to do with his supporters. Yeah, which I knew was going to happen. But yeah, it kicked right off. The lights came on. That couldn't have been helpful, but it's the same for both fighters, isn't it? So yeah, Eggington didn't allow it to affect him.
So Joe in the sidebar says, "I love Eggington. Win, lose or draw, you know what you're getting with Sam. He's massively overachieved." Fair point.
Good evening to Get This Smoke as well. Thanks for joining. Drop your comments in the sidebar, mate, and we'll read them out.
So, obviously, moving on to a Coley versus Billiam Smith, then, Lee, I'm keen to get your view on this one. Just give us your breakdown because I've seen the highlights. Obviously, I was concentrating on Lee Wood. I've heard some quarters say it was a snooze fest. I've heard some quarters say some of the knockdowns were not a knockdown. Then I've heard some people talk about a scorecard where he had it level, even though there was 3 knockdowns recorded.
Yeah.
So it sounds a bit shambolic to me.
No, it's a weird one because it was far from a snorefest. Not the greatest technical boxing fight you're ever going to see, but it was packed with drama in terms of the knockdowns, in terms of the points being deducted. Obviously, the home fighters then getting the advantage. The crowd are with him, so the atmosphere is absolutely I've never experienced anything like it. To be honest, it was incredible. And yeah, it was far from boring. Now, Okoli, for me, got what was coming to him because you can't fight like that. Well, it's not fighting, is it? He's just clinching, hugging, and finally he ran into a ref that wasn't going to put up with it. The second knockdown wasn't a knockdown. It wasn't. Definitely wasn't. Third knockdown, it's debatable again. Probably wasn't. But when you're leaning and you're coming into him and you get caught as you're going in, you leave yourself open to those sort of things. So didn't have much sympathy with him for the third. The right decision. I think the scorecards were shocking. There were 2 shocking scorecards, to be honest. The 112 was shocking, but the other one that had it really wide for Chris Billiam Smith, that was quite shocking as well because I think Coley won a lot of the rounds that he wasn't knocked down or had points deducted in. But it was enjoyable to be there.
So taking away your bias, I'll underline the word bias, Southern view, would you be in any rush to watch that fight again in the rematch?
I'm not particularly what I'd want to see next. I'd rather see Riakpo in with one of them. I think Cody should move up anyway. I think
They're
he
doing a
probably will
rematch,
move up.
right? And I think Okoli's activated that rematch, hasn't there? For what I'm
Yeah,
reading.
he indicated afterwards that he was going to rematch. I spoke to Shane McGuigan and Ben Shalom and others that thought, obviously it's not their place to say, but they think he should move up. Yeah, I expect him to rematch next, but yeah, I don't think it will have the same excitement the second time round. I think it was all basing on Chris Billiam Smith becoming a world champion, which he's now done. So I don't think it sells as well. I don't think it's quite the fight it was. Don't particularly want to see it again, if I'm being honest.
So Joe in the sidebar says, "Oh man, I nearly gave myself a stroke." That probably means something else from Nottingham, but I'll carry on. "Oh man, I nearly gave myself a stroke watching this fight. What's he thinking fighting like that? I've no sympathy for Okoli at all."
No, agree. One thing I will say though about Okoli is a credit to himself after the fight.
Yeah.
Very, very respectful. Came out and done a half-hour press conference with everyone, answered everybody's questions, shook everybody's hands. So no matter what you think about Lawrence Okoli, my opinion of him certainly changed on Saturday night.
He's such a laid-back character, and he probably does care that he lost his world title, but he didn't look like he did.
No, he didn't.
He didn't look like he cared at all. Have you ever seen, I'll ask you this, Lee, have you ever seen a defending world champion try and hug the way to victory?
No. I was so pleased to see him have those points deducted for that, because it's an appalling. You can't fight. You don't leave your opponent. I mean, he's hugging him, pushing him up against the ropes. What's Chris Billiam Smith supposed to do?
Nothing.
And that's why when he's catching him and then he's falling as he's going down, I've got no issue with that being scored a knockdown, because what else has he got? He can't do anything else. So
I think I've
not got too many issues with that.
I think half of Okoli's problem is when he throws shots, he's off balance. So half of the time he's falling into his opponent.
It's just not. I mean, he clinched within the first 10 seconds of the fight.
I know.
It's just not a style I like to see. I don't rate Okoli, if I'm being honest with you. I don't rate him whatsoever. As a boxer, as a technical. I mean, what he's got, sometimes it's effective, but other times, as it was proved Saturday night, it's not. So, yeah.
I mean, Ben Shalom's going to want to keep it in house with Riakpo, but surely Badu Jack's the fight to get, to make for Billiam Smith next, to get that green and gold strap, because he's there for the taking. Let's be honest.
Carl,
yeah,
I think you've kind of answered it there. I'd make Riakpo against Badu Jack, and then you've got a unification.
Get someone in with him quickly, because he's, like I say, he's right for the taking. Badu Jack.
Riakpo beats all of them, by the way.
Say again.
Riakpo beats all of them, by the way.
Oh yeah, I agree, mate. I think Riakpo's by far the better fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, probably the smart move would be to get Riakpo over, but it's going to cost a lot of money to get him over here, because obviously Badu Jack's got Saudi backing at the minute, hasn't he? So they're going to want him fighting over Saudi.
I'd imagine the result on Saturday night would have cost Riakpo a few quid, put it that way, because I think that was very, very much lined up for the next fight, for Okoli versus Riakpo.
Yeah, we'll see. I just props to Shane McGuigan for the tactics. Very difficult fighting against somebody like that, but Billiam Smith did what he needed to do. He didn't panic when he was in them clinches, which a lot of fighters would. He didn't try and overwork, because he thought because you must be thinking as a fighter, when you're in that position, Okoli's landing a shot, whether it's clean or not, and then he's hugging. So he's not giving
the benefit is that he's done sparring hundreds of rounds, so he's been in them clinches.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. But obviously,
I said this to him. I said, "Did you prepare for that?" And he said, "Yes, we prepared for that, but we expected a better Lawrence Okoli."
I think everybody did, mate. I thought, when he got dropped the first time, I thought we're on for a fight now. Lawrence Nicoli's going to come out and try and prove something, but just carried on fighting the same way. I don't understand it, mate. I don't understand it. As a world champion, I don't understand why you would fight that way, defending your title.
No.
The Sugar Hill effect hasn't taken place yet, has it? Clearly,
I don't think Sugar Hill can do anything with him, mate. I think
he's not that style of fighter.
He's been fighting that way for far too long to change now.
To be fair,
he'll always be that type of fighter.
Tyson Fury had been fighting that way for a lot of years as well, and he managed to change his style. So never say never.
Fury knows when to do it, Carl. There's a difference. I don't think Lawrence Cody knows any different.
Fury's got the skill to be able to be taught, Carl. That's the difference. I'm not sure Cody has.
Time will tell. So moving on then to some future fights. Obviously, Smith versus Beterbiev has been announced. Unfortunately, it's going to be taking place in Canada. What an intriguing fight this is, though. So, Leo, I'll come to you first. Callum Smith very confident, isn't he? Rightfully so. He's very confident. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I think my opinion's changed on it, to be honest. I've gone back since I predicted Smith to be the one to maybe stop him. I've gone back and watched a few of Smith's fights, and he gets caught way too much. He gets hit a lot, and he can't afford to do that against Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev would stop him if he got caught as much as he usually does. But, I do rate Callum Smith. I rate Callum Smith a lot, but yeah, I think I've gone from completely back on Callum Smith to maybe thinking, I don't know, maybe it's a bit of a tall order, especially now he's got to go over there. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one, like you said, but is he that much better than Anthony Yard? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Go on, Andy. I saw you look on your face, so I'll bring you in next.
My answer to Lee's last question is yeah, he is that much better. Certainly at 175, he's an animal, mate. Completely different fighter than super middleweight. And he seems to be building each fight. It looks really strong to me. Really, really strong. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that Matchroom didn't win the purse bid, because you're making what is already a very difficult task even more difficult. Callum Smith's going to have to win by knockout to get a victory. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is when you go abroad, isn't it? Other fighters that come into the UK all think the same way.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It'll be a real war, mate. I understand what you're saying about Callum Smith getting hit, but I'm not convinced he's that same fighter now he's moved up.
Buddy McGirt's done a great job with him.
I think he has as well.
Go back around, watch the first round of his last fight. That's what made me think, Christ, he does. I was obviously the same opinion as you, Andy, and obviously. Well, you'd like.
I think it'd be more.
You'd like to hope so. Yeah, you'd like to hope so, wouldn't you? I rate Callum Smith. I really do. I'd love to see him get it done. But yeah, Beterbiev is an animal. He's an animal.
I hope he drags him lately. Callum drags him late.
Well, he does. Yeah, because he gasses. He does gas, and I think Anthony Yard had a chance if he could have got 2 or 3 more rounds deeper.
Anthony
But
yeah,
he does gas.
He was gassed himself.
He was.
Callum Smith's the middle rounds.
I'd argue, Lee, Callum Smith's a better finisher than Yard.
Yeah, he is. What I meant is he levels above Yard. Now, I think Callum Smith probably is the best.
We don't know is the true answer, isn't it?
No, but he's the best. I think he's the best one out of Abawatsi, Aziz, Yard. He is the best one out of them 4. He is the best one to maybe take him down. But it's hard to. I mean, he is getting on a bit. SBF, people forget his age. He is getting on a little bit. So, but he did come in. He started his pro career quite late, didn't he? But yeah, I don't know. I still expect to see Betbiev versus Bibble at some point as well.
I think it's important Callum switched on. That's all, because against people like Ryder, where he thinks, my view, when he thinks he can walk through someone and not got his respect, he can be a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, he lost that fight. I'm sure he did.
John Ryder, a very close fight. Some people think he lost, but then So I hope I think he was switched on. I can see Joe's don't agree with Andy in the sidebar, so I'll just pick this one up. Joe said, Andy, he's fought nobody at 175 for you to say that. He couldn't keep a smaller man in Canelo off him. I think he might struggle against Betbiev.
Yeah, you can't be black and white with a Canelo fight, mate. We've been saying for a long while that Callum Smith was way too big for super middleweight. How does he make the weight? It was quite clear that he had nothing left.
We had it on very good authority that he was killing himself to get to 168.
Yeah, we did. I'm not. Yeah, you can say that Canelo beat him up, but he didn't stop him, did he? And he's destroyed everybody else he's been in with pretty much.
Other than John Ryder.
You've also got to admit that I mean, Callum Smith blew his left arm out in about the third round. He blew his bicep out. He's fighting with one arm against an animal like Canelo. What's he supposed to do?
He does need this big name on his resume, though. I will say that. He
does it at 1-5. Joe, I'll give Joe props. At 175, he's right. He hasn't fought anyone of any level. Well, he's going to now.
Andy, interested with what you're saying there, but who would win, in your opinion, out of Betbiev and Canelo?
At what weight? 175.
Betbiev will kill him. He punches too hard.
So you think the Callum Smith could have been because of going down in the weight? You think obviously being at this weight?
I'll put it like this then: if Callum Smith was to fight Canelo at 175, he'd beat him.
Okay. Yeah, that's
my personal opinion.
And I agree. I've always said that.
Good evening, Daz.
Hey, mate, you all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. We're just going through. We've been through the cards from last weekend, but we'll come and get your opinions on them in a minute. We're just going on about Callum Smith against Betbiev, which is now obviously over in Canada because
the hot bed of boxing and the only grade of heavyweight fighting, which is Canada, not
with the homeborn world champions
from London.
Yeah, from London and Eastern Europe. So break it down for us, Daz. How does the fight pan out?
No idea, to be fair.
Daz, you've got to get one right sooner or later, and you after you would.
Listen, I've been very, very close, mate, on every one. Just because I got the Lee Wood one wrong. But had you had a show Friday, you would have seen.
Sorry, it's our fault then. Damn.
I actually had a bet on Lee Wood to win on points.
Yeah, still not seen the slip, but we'll take your word for it.
It's not worth showing. I won about 21 quid. Hardly worth bragging about. But as far as Betbiev, I don't like all this talk about from Smith's side, and not necessarily from Smith himself. Like banking on what? Yeah, he's had tough fights. He's not invincible. He's got to go sometime. The man's an absolute machine. The man's a machine. And listen, do I think Callum Smith's capable? Of course I do. Very capable. I think Callum Smith, in his own style, punches equally as hard, if not harder, than Yard. He's just got a different way of delivering them. And I think that could trouble Beterbiev. You know, if he hits Beterbiev with a couple that he doesn't see, sets them up nice, that could be a lot of trouble for Beterbiev, because Beterbiev's not, you know, he's not invulnerable, but, you know, Callum Johnson's a massive puncher. But I think Callum Smith's got a lot more snap in his shots, a lot more variety, a lot more thought behind him. That's no disrespect to
better
Callum
boxer
Johnson.
as well, Daz. Better boxer as well.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, he's the better boxer, but Beterbiev is very, very, very effective at what he does.
Yeah.
It's a great fight, mate, isn't it? It possibly could be Callum Smith's arrival.
Yeah.
You know, or it could be Beterbiev saying, "Still here, boys." You know, it's a great fight, mate. It's a very, very good fight. Very good fight.
So, I feel like I'm in Parliament here. So, Dad, after that little speech that you're giving, how do you think it's going to go?
God,
he's putting it on you tonight, ain't he, Daz?
He is, mate, and it's because I'm late, isn't it? Come on, late. Do you know what, mate? I think Callum Smith could open him up and stop him on cuts around 9 or 10. I think he could open him up. You know, either way, a stoppage around 9 or 10 rounds.
What about you, Lee?
I'll probably go. I've said Smith this whole time, but I've said watching that. Originally, I said Callum Smith 8, but I'm swaying more towards Beterbiev now. Probably the same round.
It's a proper pick and fight. Andy, what about you?
I really don't know, mate. I really don't know. I like to give an answer, but...
Well, give on then.
I know. Editor's version.
That is the answer. I don't know.
There's plenty of time to change opinions on this one as well, I think. There's plenty of time in there.
I think it's that close a fight. My only concern is the fact that it's abroad, that it's in Canada, because I think it doesn't give Callum the opportunity to get a points decision. It shouldn't be that way.
I don't think this goes the distance either way, Andy. Either way, I don't think this goes the distance.
I think they're both very tough, because I think it could easily go the distance, mate. I just don't. I'm not convinced that Callum can possibly win on points. That's my only concern. He has to stop him to get the victory, and that's going to be a really difficult task, as we've said. He's an absolute monster. Callum's got to believe in his engine. He's got to believe that he can grind the rounds out, and like we've said, Beterbiev tends to slow down and gas a little bit later on. That's Callum's best opportunities to get late.
Anyway, order. I'm back in Parliament again. Come on then, give me a decision.
No, because I don't know. I'm not gonna just for the sake of this show, statement. I'm not just gonna pick a result when I don't know.
You must have a gut feeling. You must have a gut feeling.
No, we haven't. It's that close a fight for me.
Okay. My prediction is that I think Callum Smith's going to stop him in round 11, because I think Beterbiev slightly on the slide, no matter what anyone thinks. That's my view. I think there's signs in the Yard fight where you can get to him late, and I think Callum Smith's a better finisher than Yard. So I'm going for Callum Smith to finish him round 11. That's my view. So moving on then to Spence versus Crawford. Finally been announced. So we'll come to you first on this one, Andy. If you're able to give us a decision, how does this one break down?
Well, firstly, congratulations to the two fighters for finally making it.
Yep.
I'm still not convinced it happens until they both looking at each other, opposite corners of the ring on the night. But it's all looking very positive. I think they've been, because of what's happened in recent fights, when you've had massive fights happen just recently. I think they've kind of been pushed into it. They're a bit embarrassed they haven't fought each other.
Into it, yeah.
I think this is actually and this is going to come as a shock to everybody. I think this is quite a one-sided fight.
I think one-sided might be a bit strong.
No, I'm being dead serious.
You're going to say in Crawford's favour and all that, yeah?
I think Bug Crawford stops him.
Oh.
Spencer's not the same fighter he was before that accident, mate. And I think it's going to show. He's not fought anyone of any level in recent times. He's not the same fighter, mate. That's my opinion. And because of that,
do you know what though, mate? And as much as I'm a fan of Crawford, he gets it. He's not.
And Spence is much bigger in that.
He's not invincible, and he gets it. There's always that. Kel had success against him. You know what I mean? He did. He landed shots, mate.
He landed shots, but they didn't do out.
Well, no, but there's a difference between Kel hitting you and Errol Spence hitting you. A big difference. A big difference. There's Errol Spence, mate, is a massive puncher. He's a big hitter. And that's from people. I know I've spoken to people who've had him on pads and seen him in up close and training. He's a big hitter.
I think Crawford's way too cute. You'll see a completely different Terence Crawford to the Terence Crawford that was in with David Avanesian as an example. Avanesian had success. He hit him quite a lot. But that was a Crawford that probably didn't give David Avanesian the respect he should have.
But now you're making excuses now.
No, I'm not. I'm not making excuses. What I'm saying is he'll be switched on. That's what I'm saying. He'll be more switched on. That's my personal opinion.
I think Crawford will win.
He's got to be. He's got to be switched on.
But I think he's going to have some life and death moments in there with Spence. But I think he'll be too cute.
I tell you what. I think may happen with it. I think it's going to be a close fight, and it's going to be a controversial decision either way.
Just picking a few comments up on the side. So Joe says late stoppage for Spence between 10 and 12.
I don't think either of them stop each other. I don't think
your mate tonight in the under, so he's put Andy.
Yeah, he's put me on me a bit, which is fine.
Name the last world-class fighter that Crawford beat.
David Avanesian. Because he fights world-class fighters every time he fights, mate.
Yeah, I think one side is a bit that I don't agree with you on. I think Crawford will win, but I think it'll be a close fight.
I think
it's going to be controversial. They're going to. I think it's going to be controversial either way, and they're going to have a trilogy. There's going to be 3 fights between these two.
I think you might. Well, you know, it's all about opinions, isn't it? Carl just had a go at me for not wanting to give one on the last fight. So I'm giving one now. I just think you might find Spence is going to grow old in this fight. I think there's so much happened that accident's took so much wear and tear out on him, in my opinion.
It could have.
I just don't think. I just don't think he looks the same person, mate.
Who did he fight? How many times he fought since the accident? Once.
Yeah, I think so. And I can't even remember who it was.
It didn't look great, did it?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
So, but that could be same as what you've said about Crawford. We have an Easy. He just could have not been.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I might be completely wrong, guys. He might come out and blow Crawford away. He might come out and it might be a complete barnstormer, like you say. But
no, I don't think it will, mate. I don't think it'll be a barnstormer. I think it'll be very technical and respectful, and they'll be picking stuff here and there, and it might liven up a bit towards end. But I just think it's going to be controversial.
So he fought Ugas last time, I didn't say. He fought Ugas.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad opponent, is it?
No.
You know, I mean, would you say? I mean, it don't really matter whether Ugas is better than Avanesian or Avanesian's better than they're both world class, aren't they? Ugas and Avanesian. They're both world class fighters.
I think that'll be a close fight between them two. Ugas
What?
and Avanesian.
Avanesian. Yeah, I mean, they're both world class, aren't they? So it is. I mean, it could be a factor, like Andy says. I do agree with that. This car crash, has he healed and everything. I mean, I don't exactly know what injuries did he have.
Eye injuries, wasn't it?
Yeah. He nearly couldn't box again.
Yeah, I mean, you see, he could take that one or two ways, couldn't he? I mean, he could think, or he could be a bit worried about his eyes, or he could think, I've got a second chance. Let's take it. And you don't know, dear. I'm just glad it's been made. And I think Spence is the naturally bigger man. Could be a factor, could not be a factor. Who knows? But
I think Spence's best chance of winning, I know I've said it, I think it'll go late, but Spence's best chance of winning might be to jump on Crawford and try and get him out of there earlier.
Possible way to do it.
He does that though, Carl, and there's a very good chance he walks onto something.
I'm not sure Crawford's got the power to knock Spence out, if I'm honest.
Oh, he has, mate. It's not deadly. It's not deadly power. It's about timing, isn't it?
I just don't think he's got it to do it though. So if I was in Spence's corner, I'd be saying best chance we've got here, Errol, is to jump on him, and size matters.
No, there's a lot of ways it could go in there. I just think it's going to be controversial either way. I think it's going to be a couple of rounds to either one of them, maybe even a draw. Then it's going to be controversial, so they'll do it again, and then I think it'll happen again, and then they'll do it again.
This era needs a trilogy, don't it? Hope so. You're right. Hope it's an absolute barnstormer. I just don't see it.
I don't care.
I'll eat the words if it is. Happily.
I hope it's a great technical fight, mate. That'll do. Where skills are on show. That's great.
Yeah.
And that's topic for the night. Let's have a quick 5 minutes on Tyson Fury and all this contract debacle.
Let's not. Let's not even have 1 minute on it because it's not worth the airtime.
We're here again, aren't we? 14 months down the line. He knows that AJ is going to fight Billiam White and then move on to Wilder. So, it's all smoke and mirrors for me.
Why even? What I mean, it's out there in the public domain that AJ's fighting in August and then December or late November. So why even put a contract to him for September? Why do that? It's obviously he's not going to accept it. What's the point? Concentrate on your own fights, Tyson.
I'm about as bored as this as I am as Conor Ben.
Well, Tyson Fury's left without a dance partner, isn't he? That's the truth of it.
Well, no, he's got one waiting in the wings, Usyk, but that just don't seem to happen because they both want too much money.
Well,
Usyk's going to fight Daniel Dubois. AJ's going to fight Dillian White. Joe Joyce is going to fight Zhilei Zhang. So he's running out of options, isn't he?
In your opinion, though, Cole, and I know you're a massive Tyson Fury fan, who's to blame for that?
Yeah, well, obviously Fury. I think the boxing public at first 2 years ago we used to find it quite funny, didn't we, when he come out and gave all these sound bites.
Yeah.
Well, I did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But then, as time's gone on, he's done more talking out the ring than he has fighting inside of it. Let's be honest. He had a gimme against Dillian White. He had a gimme against Derek Chisora. And he hasn't been seen since. So he's in danger of tarnishing his legacy for me.
I just don't understand it. Isn't he ever in Australia in talks again to fight that? I can't even remember what his name is.
Dempsey McKean and
he's that world-class fighter out of Australia.
Yeah, it's just a bit. Obviously, the heavyweight division is a marquee division of boxing, isn't it? But at the minute, every other division is getting his house in order. It feels like
we are.
The best are fighting the best. Yeah. And it's the heavyweight division where we just don't seem to be getting the fights.
I just think that Tyson Fury's he's had a couple of real massive paydays. I mean, what was the Dillian White? Was it 80-20 split, Dillian White, Wembley?
Yeah, because it was a mandatory, wasn't it? Dillian White was a mandatory.
So what's he earned in that fight then? 40 million?
I wouldn't know. A lot.
Crazy, depending on what the pay-per-views did, crazy money he's earned in that fight is the answer. The problem is now he's probably pricing himself out of fights because he thinks that because he's earned that over a number of fights, he thinks that that's the way it should be every fight. Well, it's not, is it?
And I've been quite critical of Alexander Usyk, but props to him because he's jumping in with his mandatory. Yep. When all the other heavyweight divisions sat waiting for this big payday in Saudi Arabia, let's be honest, they're all sitting on their hands waiting for the money to drop in. Usyk at the minute, as I sit here now, is the only fighter who says, I'll go and fight Daniel Dubois in Poland, earning nowhere near what he would have done for sitting on it, if he was jumping in with a Tyson Fury, but he's defending his belt. So I know sometimes I'm critical, but
it come out today. Is he earning? Is it 5 million or 8 million? And
not a lot in terms. No, not a lot.
No, and Dubois earning 2 million. I know for us paupers, it's a lot of money, but in terms of the heavyweight division, it's not, is it? You know, when these gigantic fights are earning you 40, 50 million pound.
Dad used to earn that for sparring.
Yeah. All right. I wish.
All right, 1 million.
Yeah, I wish.
I just I don't. I think as a channel we ought to put a blanket ban on talking about the heavyweight division until something serious gets made because it's completely pointless. The old division's pointless.
It is frustrating. I mean, personally, it's my favourite division. Like a lot of fight fans because it's exciting.
Used to be mine.
But I'm just a bit frustrated with he said, she said, promoters coming out. Queensbury sent a contract over to Matchroom. Eddie Hearn coming out and going, we've never received a contract. And it's just old.
It's like child's play.
It's a joke, isn't it? It's an absolute, it's an absolute joke.
It's like child's play, mate. And
I just, I don't want to accuse Tyson Fury of things because I don't know the facts, but it feels like, that's what I'll say, it feels like they've only come out with this to keep Tyson Fury a bit more relevant because nothing's happening for him. Just to keep his name in the papers and in the media outlets and us talking about it on channels like this. You know,
Job done.
Exactly.
I'll go on record as saying, and this isn't a big gamble by any stretch, Frank Warren trying to convince people today that Daniel Dubois got a chance against Usyk. I could honestly, I'd like, you're a very good salesperson, Frank, but that's even for you, that's a stretch.
I mean, he's any man with a pulse and two hands has got a slight chance.
Yeah, of course. It's heavyweight boxing.
Let's not say he's got no chance whatsoever.
It's heavyweight boxing, isn't it?
He has got
Dubois does it hard.
He has got a chance, but it's very slim.
Has anything come out? Has anything come out as to why he parted company with the McGuigans yet?
No, not that I've read anyway.
Anything.
It's very curious. Very curious that around the time that this fight was going to get made, all of a sudden, not at that gym anymore. It just makes me wonder whether conversations have been had about whether he can even win the fight or not.
Not for me, because not for me. I don't believe McGregor Shane would have. You think they parted ways a bit like Adam Booth when he says to George Groves, you can't beat Carl Froch, and they've had
potentially, yeah. Ways. Yeah, potentially.
You never say never until you know the facts, but you know.
Shane McGuigan's not scared to give an opinion, mate. You know, I don't want to put words into anybody's mouth. I'm just, like I said, I don't know. I'm just curious. You know, it seemed to come out the blue. That's all.
I don't think Shane would have said that. I think to be fair, Shane would have just basically worked on a game plan to try and beat Usyk, what he thought were best.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
You know, and
what do you think? What do you think of the decision, Daz, to go with the coach he's gone with?
Who, Dubois?
Don
Yeah.
Charles is gone with Hunter.
Yeah, I'm going to say, is it Don Charles?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a round robin of names, isn't there? That fighters who leave coaches go to. They either go to Ben Davison, they either go to Shane McGuigan, they either go to Don Charles. There's a few others, Tony Sims, sort of thing. Listen, the great trainers in their own right, but I think there's a lot of culture of people who go to trainers who have got names. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think there's enough look around and see who fits you best. Look around and visit people, do a few training sessions with people, see what fits you best. Do you know what I mean? And so, what if that person isn't well known? If they fit you best and your style best, that's what's best for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
It's as though it has to be a name, Daz. It has to be a name.
Yeah, listen.
So, Joe in the sidebars put, I've heard his dad was the reason why he left Shane, but people are saying Caroline refused to leave and there's been a big fallout. Sounds like a Corrie episode to me. Interesting.
Right. Well, so Daz, you missed the start of the show, so let's give you the opportunity to give your opinions on what's gone off in these other fights. We'll start with Conlan.
Yeah, bit surprised at that. Bit surprised. He seems to be falling short. I mean, it's arguable that if he'd heard the last bell against Lee Wood, he would have won on points. He was probably in front.
Yeah.
But he didn't dance, did he? He got caught.
He got caught. I don't think he did anything majorly wrong. I don't think he switched off. I mean, he were getting caught anyway, really, weren't he? Lee were catching him, so it just hit him with a better shot than he had previous.
In this fight against Lopez, Daz, my personal opinion was that he fought completely the wrong fight. For the first two rounds, he was boxing on the back foot, doing what Michael Conlan does very well.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, it's like he bit down his gum shield, planted his feet, and says, "Let's have it." And clearly, that's playing right into his hands.
Well, he dipped into an uppercut, didn't he? Like a bit of a looping uppercut, dipped into it. But I just look at him, and I mean, there's a clip of him in ring afterwards. He was like devastated, and his brother basically, you could hear him leaning into him and saying, "Listen, you just fought the wrong fight, Michael. You just fought the wrong fight. But fighting the wrong fight at world class ain't good enough. Maybe." To me, if he's come out, Harry come out a couple of first two rounds and he was boxing on back foot, he looked good, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He was doing what he does, like you say. Why is it changed? Why is he then thought I'll stand with him? That's either lack of discipline from Conlan, lack of discipline to listen to his corner, or it's a big error from Adam Booth.
I can't imagine it's the latter.
Not your mate Adam Booth, Andy.
I know. I can't imagine Adam Booth said to him at any point in that fight, "Now's the time to stand in front of him and trade."
Well, I've heard some equally interesting things come out of Adam Booth's mouth. So I mean, let's just say, to me, Adam Booth, one of his own.
Joe in the side says, "What do you think about some people say Booth's fighters gas out very quickly?"
I don't believe that. No. I mean, look at Josh Kelly against Troy Williamson. I mean, he switched off. Conlan switched off, started to fight the wrong fight and got hit with a shot and stopped. That weren't gassing out. That was fighting the totally wrong fight. So I don't think the gas are. I think
And over the years, I mean, good George Groves was always in good nick. David A
Yeah,
was always
I
in
mean,
good nick.
Yeah, I mean David A, Groves, Kelly's in good nick. You know, listen, I've no doubt Conlan's in good nick. You know, he just got caught, didn't he? Not a lot he could do about it.
So what does he do? What does he do next, Daz?
Oh, mate, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, he probably leaves Adam Booth, goes to another name trainer.
You think he leaves Adam Booth?
Maybe goes to another trainer, name trainer, gets a couple of wins, and then comes up short in another world title fight.
You don't think he can win a world title then at featherweight?
Who's he going to beat?
Yeah, you make a point.
I mean, let's be right, lads. This was the easy pick for him.
Yeah.
This guy was supposed to be tailor-made for him to box his ears off.
Why didn't he? Is the question. Why didn't
he? He did for the first two, didn't he? And then he just decided to have a fight with him.
It could be just a case that he's just not good enough.
Totally different game, amateurs and pros. Totally
Next one then, Daz. Okoli, Billiam Smith. Have you watched? Have you even watched that far? Have you put yourself through that torture?
I have. Yeah, I won't be watching it again. Do you know what I want to say? I want to say what a gentleman Lawrence Okoli is, though. You know what an absolute class act Lawrence Okoli is, and Chris Billiam Smith. But I mean, that were painful.
Yeah,
painful.
You got the rematch, yeah.
Well, I mean, Chris Billiam Smith fought, well, but Lawrence Okoli were terrible. Absolutely terrible. Listen,
he's now with Sugar Hill. Can Sugar Hill change anything that Lawrence Okoli does? I mean, because he's going to have to.
It don't look like it, does it?
I don't think he can either.
You know, that's 2 fights in, and nothing's changed. He looks like he's going backwards.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, he's not aggressive. I don't think he's a naturally aggressive person, is he?
He looks scared to engage. He looks scared to stand and throw with another fighter. It's like I was saying this to Lee when Lee was on a bit ago. He's off balance as a fighter as well. He's very awkward. He's got a very awkward style, but he throws shots, and he's off balance, and he falls into his opponent.
He punches very, very, very hard, though, by all accounts. Okoli.
So you think he's maybe just loading up and then not worrying about what comes next?
No, you've always got to worry about what comes next, haven't you? But just more worry about what you're doing. You can't. There's no point in just going in and throwing and trying to bang somebody out because you're going to end up getting banged out. You've got to do it with a method. But
what's his method then?
Well, he's got to have a bit of faith in his reach, hasn't he? His reach, his power, his technique, his jab, stuff like that.
I mean, I can count on one hand how many times he threw a jab but stayed at that distance. It was always he threw a shot and hugged.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what he needs to go. It looks to me like he needs to strip it back and go back to basics.
Back to the fundamentals.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do for me.
I mean, what does this? What I didn't ask this before, but I'll ask it now. We go in on Eddie Hearn a bit for a number of things, but looking at it now, Eddie Hearn's done work miracles with Lawrence Okoli. It's made him a millionaire off the back of, and a world champion at that, off the back of throwing a shot and hugging, because that's all he's ever done in his whole career. It's only when he gets somebody really hurt that he actually does become an aggressive fighter to finish fights.
I think it just reaffirms that Richard Riakporhe is the best cruiserweight we've got.
Yeah, I agree there.
It's a poor division, though. Poor division.
Riakporhe is a good fighter, though. I like Riakpo. I think Riakpo's the best out of them all.
Any other fights you want to touch on, Carl, before we bring the show to an end?
No, I think that's about it for this week, to be honest. Obviously, commiserations to Stanley Stannard and Jamie Robinson, who both were out on the early part of both Sky and DAZN cards.
Actually, yeah, just while you've brought that up, mate, let's just touch on the Stanley Stannard fight. I didn't mention this on Thursday's show when we were giving predictions out, but I did know that Stannard had that operation, and how far out he was from fight week. 8 weeks after an operation is not a long time to get yourself punching.
I'm going to match his efforts.
Not that I want that to. I'm not really making excuses for Stan there, but to even get himself into a position to be able to fight at any sort of a level after 8 weeks of elbow surgery is outstanding, really. I just hope he isn't. He's going to be disappointed, obviously. First time he's been on, a big broadcaster, but I just hope he's not too disappointed with his performance.
Well, it was very competitive. He went into the lines den. He didn't freeze. So I'm hoping he stops risen on the back of this fight, because it happens, don't it? You stop camera eyes after a defeat. So he should keep his head high. He performed really well, got done on points. But I think he demonstrated that, he belongs on this sort of platform. So I'm just hoping that he gets a lot more phone calls for a lot more big shows.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that could happen, in there.
Yeah, definitely.
We certainly haven't heard the last of Stan. That's an absolute certainty.
Tell you what, though, Sam Eggington does it again.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of us called that.
No, what did I say? Did I say Pigford or did I say?
I think we all said Pigford.
We all said Pigford. Don't worry about that, Dad. You said Pigford.
I thought I did.
I think we were all thinking that Eggington was probably done, but quite clearly, I take that back now. Sam, I apologise, mate.
Yeah,
you've clearly got a lot left in you. But our Paul was Pigford, does.
Yeah, it worked great, Warrior. It was Pigford's biggest test, and it showed the levels, didn't it? Really, Eggington's, levels above.
Been there, done it, got the t-shirt.
Yeah. Very experienced Eggington. He knew exactly what to be doing at the right times. Didn't he?
Yeah, great fire, Eggington. I love him. Love watching him. Well, you're always going to get entertained, win, lose or draw, and he goes into fights. And that's one thing about Eggington that not a lot of other fighters have. Is he's got no fear factor. No, I mean he probably is going to get really, really old overnight in one fight. But
he's been in some wars, hasn't he? Yeah. Wow, he's been in some wars.
Yeah, but that obviously weren't.
Yeah.
Saturday night. He's still got enough left. But he is, he's what you get and all. He's a nice guy as well, isn't he?
Come up the hard way. Well.
I've not met him personally, Daz, but by all accounts, he comes across really well. He's very humble. Long live his career if he's going to carry on fighting like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I'm going to bring it to an end now, then, guys. So, Daz, thanks for joining us, fella.
All right, mate.
Much appreciated. And I know you're in the hotel room there, so I hope it works out tonight.
I was going to say your bedroom looks a lot like an hotel room, Andy.
Don't go no further, Dad. It's a family show. What he does in his own time's up to him. Thank you, Sidebar, for all the comments. We'll leave Andy to get along in his hotel room. Same time next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
See you later, lads.